we normally have a really solid defense, and we do bring in very good defensive players, but bringing in one of the best defensive coordinators in the country will really begin to amplify that, and I believe that we'll start to see more and more elite level talent. Getting Jim Knowles in the building on a 3-year contract, I think he's going to be able to take them to that next level. They've already had a lot of success on the defensive side of the football. It does feel like there's another level they can get to, and I think Jim Knowles is going to be that guy to take this defense to the next level. What's up, everybody? This is Road to Happy Valley, and I'm your host, Noah Malone. I wanted to get on here and talk about some of the big news. Obviously, as Penn State fans, we had a huge announcement. Jim Knowles signs a reported 3-year, $3.1 million a year contract to be the next defensive coordinator at Penn State, making him the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football. This is huge. Before I get into more of my thoughts, I want to provide just some background information on who Jim Knowles is. So he comes from Philadelphia. He's from Philadelphia. He went to St. Joe's Prep, played defensive end at Cornell. When he was done at Cornell, he ended up coaching there from 1988 to 1996 at just various positions. Went on to coach at Western Michigan from 1997 to 2002 as a defensive line coach and a defensive coordinator. Went on to Ole Miss to be a coach there for a year. Went back to Cornell from 2004 to 2009 as the head coach, and then coached at Duke from 2010 to 2017. After Duke, he went to Oklahoma State from 2018 to 2021, and then 2022 to 2024 is when he took over as DC at Ohio State. Those years at Oklahoma State are really where it where he really began to make his name, and obviously going from Oklahoma State to Ohio State is quite a jump. So there's that. And now yours truly, the defensive coordinator at Penn State. So 2024, the Ohio State defense, all too familiar with them, unfortunately. They were one of the best defenses in the country, right? So they were first in yards allowed, first in scoring defense, and first in red zone. Definitely three very important pieces to having a successful defense. So what does this mean for Penn State moving forward? As you guys, I'm sure, have noticed, we're obviously getting a new stadium. A lot of money's being put into that. Things like that don't just happen if your alumni, your athletic director, your head football coach, everybody's on. Those things don't happen unless all of those people are on the same page and really trying to take Penn State to the next level, right? That's an awful lot of money for a new stadium. $3.1 million a year for a defensive coordinator. Like I said, that makes you the highest paid guy in college football for a defensive coordinator. That's something serious. That's something that we haven't seen Penn State do. At least I haven't. So I think that this is just a step in the right direction of a lot of people are looking to see Penn State take that next step. Everybody's in line. This is just part of that journey. So I think that's really important with this signing, and the offensive coordinator being Andy Kotelnicki. I think you have one of the best OC-DC combos in the country, which is awesome. Also, this is great for recruiting. I know that one of the knocks from what I saw was that he wasn't necessarily a guy that is a great recruiter. Well, I don't know if I really believe that, because it seems like year in and year out, Ohio State is constantly bringing in some of the best recruiting classes in college football. I know NIL really changes that, but regardless, you still have to go there. You're still meeting with these kids. You still have to have a reputation of putting a good product out on the field and having success. And clearly he's done that at Ohio State. So I think that might not necessarily be a fair criticism, because he is still was putting out great defenses for Ohio State year in and year out. And we still have, obviously, James Franklin, and we all know how good of a recruiter he is. So I think that just that combo of those two guys will really start to bring in. We normally have a really solid defense, and we do bring in very good defensive players, but bringing in one of the best defensive coordinators in the country will really begin to amplify that. And I believe that we'll start to see more and more elite level talent come in these recruiting classes. Not only on the defensive side of the ball, but I think on offense too. I think once you become an elite program and you display that you can dominate on both sides of the ball, you just begin to get access to some of the best talent. And I think bringing in a guy like Jim Knowles, like I said, with a proven track record of success, is only going to help everybody in the room at Penn State. As I said at the beginning of this, he is from Philadelphia. Philadelphia, specifically St. Joe's Prep, which St. Joe's Prep is an area that it has a lot of talent, but Penn State historically has not done a great job getting kids to go from St. Joe's to Penn State. I know that last year they had Cam Smith, but before that it was John Reed. And outside of those two guys, there really has not been that St. Joe's to Penn State pipeline. Penn State has done much better in Philadelphia, the rest of Philadelphia at least, within the last few years. But a place like St. Joe's Prep is constantly churning out good players, constantly one of the best teams, best high school football teams in Pennsylvania. So being able to go back there and have that connection to a great high school football team, high school football factory per se, is huge. Some of the guys that have played at St. Joe's Prep are DeAndre Swift, both the Trotter brothers, Kyle McCord, Marvin Harrison Jr., John Runyon Jr., and Olamide Zaccheaus. All of those guys, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., obviously in the NFL. His younger brother played at West Virginia and is entering the draft this year, I believe. Kyle McCord's entering the draft this year, but everybody else on that list has played in the NFL and currently, if not currently, still is. So if you can bring in guys like that to your program, it just makes things so much easier. And if you have a guy that is very well known in the Philadelphia area and has that connection to St. Joe's Prep, that's just huge for your program. I think that this signing has been, aside from them bringing in James Franklin, aside from a head coaching change at Penn State, this is probably the biggest signing that Penn State has had, at least from what I have been alive to experience. One of the things about being a successful college football team, and the same thing applies to the NFL too, is it's tough to retain talent in your coaching staff, because normally You end up going from this will be our third DC and fourth DC in 5 years, something along those lines. Like, Penn State defenses have been historically very, very good, but the price you have to pay with that is constantly bringing in new coaches. And we've seen the same thing on offense. This will be Kotelnicki's second year, but getting Jim Knowles in the building on a 3-year contract is just going to be really, really special for this defense. I think he's going to be able to take them to that next level. Like I said before, they've already had a lot of success on the defensive side of the football, but it does feel like there's another level they can get to, and I think Jim Knowles is going to be that guy to take this defense to the next level. I'll say that some of the recruiting piece of this we won't necessarily see translate onto the field right away because it's obviously such a new hire and he hasn't had really an opportunity to go out there and put together a full recruiting class on the defensive side of the ball. But I've already been seeing reports of him going and meeting with players in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, St. Joe's, all that already. So he's not messing around. He's out there on day one, day two, immediately meeting with guys, looking to improve this defensive side of the football for this team, and I'm really excited. I feel really great about this. I mean, how can you not? Being able to go out there and bring in a guy that had so much success at Ohio State, just won a national championship. I mean, we saw how good that defense was, and he was the man leading it. So I'm really looking forward to what he's going to be able to do at Penn State. I'm going to probably end up doing more of like a deep dive as far as like the scheme goes and like who would be some impact players that would really thrive in his type of system. But wanted to come on here, at least give you guys my thoughts on how I feel about this signing. Huge deal. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. We are.